I'm Stacy Holmes, and this is Glordinary, a few moments where we celebrate God's glory and champion the ordinary. I'm glad you're here. Years ago, on our original Summer of Sabbath series, we chatted about distractions, especially how our digital distractions can leave us more absent than present. But lately, I've discovered something else can rob my rest, and it's not just distraction. Sometimes it's dread, living tomorrow before tomorrow gets here. I know this because a couple of years ago, I packed a suitcase full of it. You see, I had just arrived for a 24-hour silent retreat. Silent retreat? Yeah, it's kind of as awkward as it sounds at first. And yes, you really do maintain silence with and from other people while at the retreat. The intent is to dial down the distractions, to get away with the Lord in solitude and silence. And yes, it really is absolutely lovely, even for extroverts, I promise. And it was on one of these times away when I came into this retreat particularly angsty. My heart and mind were kickboxing each other over who was more worried. I'm not sure which was winning, but I know I was ultimately losing. I just had no rest in my soul. Fear, worry, frustration, tension, turmoil, I packed it all with me on the retreat. I knew there were some big changes about to shake down for me and my family, and I felt unprepared for the gravity of those circumstances. Anticipating the unknown, dialing up the anxiety, worrying over worst-case scenario. What's going to happen when? What if this happens? What if that happens? Am I going to make it through? Will my kids be okay? Will I be able to handle this? How will I be able to handle that? The quicksand of anticipation can swallow us whole. I know, because for this silent retreat, I had packed more than my overnight bag. I packed my dread, too. Thankfully, I had also packed my hiking boots, because one of the beautiful opportunities on these retreats is to get out into nature. And for a girl like me, that's where I do my best listening, it would seem. After all, the Word says God speaks through natural revelation. That's His creation. And He also speaks through special revelation. That's His Word. And as I slowly hiked miles and miles that sun-drenched fall afternoon, my heart and soul dumped out all the dread of upcoming changes and challenges, all the places I felt unsure, uncertain, underdeveloped, and definitely unready. Is that even a word? And as I crunched through fallen leaves and cried my heart out, the words of a song popped into my mind. Now, you've probably heard me say once or twice that God knows how to speak to me in a way I know how to hear. He knows how to speak to you in a way you know how to hear. And for me, music is not a typical method that I hear God speaking. So I'm quick to pay attention if or when it happens. The particular lyric was, "Holy Spirit, you are welcome here." And that refrain reverberated in my soul, buoying my resolve, steadying my faith. And each time I began to sing and whisper those lyrics, "Holy Spirit, you are welcome here," I would call to mind a specific issue, placing my hand to my heart or over my mind as if to say, "God, I invite you here into this space, here into this worry, here into this angst, here into this gap." And as I continued to walk the trail that afternoon, His peace began to walk with me. Walk in me, really. I whispered aloud to the Lord, "You are here. And until I get there, you are here." I came back to my retreat room, back to my journal, and I wrote down that statement. You are here. And until I get there, you are here. It wasn't until I wrote out those words that I realized I can't even spell there without the word here. And that's when the Holy Spirit began unpacking all that dread-filled baggage I had lugged behind me, in me, with me. Because God is a with me God. And usually when I think of God being with me, I think, okay, no matter what tomorrow holds, God is with me. Except God's not waiting for tomorrow to arrive. Tomorrow's only tomorrow to me. He's already there. And He's here. So while I'm full of dread over tomorrow, God's already been there. The future that rattles me has never once rattled him because he's already there. And somehow he's completely here too. So until I get there, he's here with me. It's one of those make your head hurt if you think about it too hard paradoxes. But isn't that just like this God, to be both here and there simultaneously? This God who isn't bound by time, space, or uncertainty. This God who the word says goes before us, behind us, and beside us. This God who surrounds us with his favor like a shield. Because he is a with us God, an Emmanuel God, a present God, a presence God, a presence God. It reminds me again of episode number 21, Sneakers and Screens, Sabbath Distinction. It's where we highlighted how those digital devices keep us absent when we were made to be a people of presence. And that's capital P presence, as in his presence. Exodus 33:15 and 16 says, "Then Moses said to him, 'If your presence does not go with us, don't send us up from here. How will anyone know that you're pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth?'" Apparently, I'm not the only one who's noticed presence matters more than answers. I think Moses learned the same thing, and that makes everything about his prayer just hit different. It strikes me that Moses didn't ask God for directions of where they'd be going. He didn't ask for strength, for success. He didn't even ask God if they'd be okay. He simply asked for God's presence to be with them. Because God's presence is what made the Israelites distinct. Not his answers, not his itinerary, his presence to be with them here, to be with them there. And isn't that what my soul truly longs for, truly needs? 7 months later, I found myself back at the same retreat center. Same woods, same trail, same God, different Stacy. Because by now, I'd already been to the there that I was dreading 7 months earlier. By now, the dread I had packed before was behind me. Tomorrow was now yesterday. Yet somehow, God had been exactly who he promised he would be. Maybe it's that whole yesterday, today, and forever thing. But 7 months later, I had faced my there. I had faced my dread. The circumstances were definitely different than I imagined. Some good, some less so. Some fears happened, many didn't. Some things surprised me. None of them surprised him. I had spent months imagining what there would look like, feel like, and God used those same months to walk with me, strengthen me, shape me, change me, stretch me, course correct me, guide me, because he's a with me God, a God of presence. And as I unpacked my overnight bag on this retreat, I almost chuckled because I'd done it again. I had packed new questions, new topics, and yes, some new dreads. Fears about what tomorrow would hold, about what there would look like. I'm still growing at this. But as I walked those same identical trails 7 months later, I still found God's presence right there, right here, on the trail, again. Friend, I don't know what there represents for you. A diagnosis, a deployment, a healing, a rock bottom, a college drop-off, a celebration, the sting of death. There looks different for every one of us. But I do know this. When you get there, you'll discover God was already there. And until there comes, he is here. And if you need a little help remembering that, like I do, it's a great time to step into Sabbath. It's God's weekly invitation to stop living tomorrow before tomorrow gets here. Remember, you're not alone in this. I'm praying for you, friend. Have a glordinary day.